Hey gamers, welcome to Vlog Matters number 14. It has been such a long time since I have done a vlog, and as you can tell, this entire thing looks different. So first, before I talk about all of this, let's talk a little bit about Project Torment. If you haven't seen the post that I put up, I don't know, it's got to be maybe a month or so ago. There's a post on submattergames.com about Project Torment, and that we've temporarily shelved it because of the cost associated with that project right now, and the scope of it was a little big. So what we wanted to do is temporarily shelve the idea, keep it in the back of our minds, but work on something else in the meantime, something that was just in a different style a little bit, and actually not even in the same same ballpark when it comes to game development and programming, at least in my mind. So what I've done here now is that this is what it looks like usually if I do my game dev streaming through Subject Matter Games. So if you go to twitch.tv /submattergames, you will see this kind of thing whenever I'm streaming. Let's see, if I look at my screen over there, up here we've got a to-do, which has got a bunch of updates that I need to get done for this next project. Got the little cam face down here, and then up there is the Unity software, game software stuff. So what I'm going to do is kind of do the vlogs this way, because I think this way you can kind of see what we're working on a little bit better. The only issue that could occur with that is that sometimes we'll do vlogs where we'll talk about stuff and there won't be a whole lot to show. But I think we've been working on this game since that post went up, so probably about a month, I would guess. And what we've been working on in place of for our new project is not called Super Wall Crash, even though that's what's on the screen. Super Wall Crash is just this fake logo I made to get some kind of loading screen in here. So what is this game? So let's play it and we'll look at it. Hopefully this keeps up, because I'm using a different thing to stream. Thing to record now. I'm using OBS rather than what I used to use, which was something different. So I've turned off the music in this, so any music you hear is just put in post for this vlog. But what this is a... Let's see if I can describe it right. So it's kind of like Minecraft meets Temple Run meets Crossy Road. So after Torment, and hopefully this isn't... it's a little chuggier on the video than it is in person. I was trying to edit the settings to make it run a little better, but it wasn't cooperating with recording. So what we did is we looked at a game... We looked at Crossy Road primarily, and... personally, I was like, well, these guys made this game in Unity, and we've always developed in Unity. And then I looked into this program called Cubicle, and I've never been into the Minecraft and stuff. The Minecraft. I've played it a little bit, but I never got real into building stuff. It was more of adventuring for me. So we started looking into Cubicle, and I started messing around and just making little people with it, and I brought them into Unity, and I thought, you know what, that process of building my own art, oh sorry, I bumped the mic, building my own art and bringing it into Unity is something I did with Torment, but it was on kind of a bigger, more detailed scale, I'd say. So it was more like trying to update miniature textures, and I'm gonna let this run for a second. Actually, I'll reset it. I was doing textures and modifying stuff that I got on the asset store, and in this case, I was building stuff from scratch. Now, I've done that a little bit before. Don't Be Dinner had some stuff that was built from scratch and put in there, but for most of it was Unity assets. So in terms of seeing Cubicle and being like, oh, I can build, little things myself and bring them into Unity, and I can use that as my art style. Which is what Crossy Road did. It's not the same process that Minecraft's gone through, but Minecraft has the same idea where they've embraced an art style that is not necessarily like super cutting edge graphically you know, looking like Uncharted 600 or something like that. But I think it's kind of a cool art style to stick with. It's definitely a well-used art style, which is kind of a little bit of a pain. But that process of bringing stuff into the editor was so easy that I thought, well, we should start building something using this cubicle thing. So what I did is sat down with a couple other guys, and we started talking about what we wanted from this game. And we came up with the idea after looking at a game like Crossy Road that goes on forever for some kind of infinite thing. And right now, if you have been watching this, this goes on for infinity and gens in left and right, so I can keep strafing left and right. If I keep doing that, I'm going to just get murdered by all these guys. I can keep going left and right, and I can keep going straight, and it'll keep doing several things. One, it keeps auto-generating the level, generating the tiles, the debris, and the trees. These are all prefabs that are built previously to this, and then what we do is we randomize a number of things related to them, like their position, their rotation, and their scale and stuff like that, and eventually there's going to be other stuff associated with that. But this goes on forever and continues to generate, so it's basically like a randomly placed world. I wouldn't say it's fully procedurally generated, because we, like I said, we have this stuff prefabbed out. But what we wanted was something that went on forever, had different biomes, like kind of like Minecraft has. Right now I'm in the grasslands, now I'm in the desert, and before you saw there's like a snow biome. We wanted this thing where you could go through these different levels, and basically the primary idea, let me get killed there and stop this so I can talk. The primary idea was, what if there was a guy playing football, right? Catches the football. Imagine this in like Cube style too. Catches the football, starts running. This has probably been in like so many stupid movies, but starts running, and he runs right through the wall of the stadium, and he keeps going. And then there's a parking lot, and then there's, you know, a suburbs, and then a forest, and blah, blah, blah. So now what if that was a game where you started out by catching a football and then running through the stadium, through the wall, and just kept going? And initially what you would have is, you know, defenders of the other team trying to stop you, but then as you get out into the world, there's other things you can run into that'll harm you. Things like trees, cars, other, you know, objects. We call them debris. And then there's going to be other guys that are attacking you, trying to stop you. So that was kind of where the idea spawned from, and then it ended up turning into this. So it doesn't look like a whole lot right now, because almost, not all of these, but the majority of this art is all placeholder right now, especially obviously the enemies and the player. Those are not at any way final, and especially, you know, the code behind a lot of this stuff. So the code behind most of the enemies is real simplistic right now and real busted. You can see these red guys are just like nuts sometimes. They just like do not follow their normalized, their speed isn't normalized, so they just go all over the place. But we've got a lot of like really good groundwork going so far. So like I said, it generates this stuff forever, so that was, you know, a good chunk of code. Another thing I saw, another game dev streamer, I can't think of the project off the top of my head. I popped into a game dev stream, and what they were doing is loading stuff in their game. I think it was some kind of object, object you can buy. It was like an RPG kind of thing, through JSON files, which I had never worked with, but I've heard of before. So what we've got is our biomes load through JSON, and then we define certain things related to each of the objects in the biomes and what tiles they, you know, you can have debris apply to all tiles. You can have debris only apply to certain tiles, like in this case. And then when we go forward and we want to add new biomes, all we have to do is drop in the art assets and stick you know, a new entry in here, and it just loads all of it. It's actually really easy because I've been doing it with some of the, like the snowman is a new guy that we just brought in. So it takes probably about, once you have the model finished in Cubicle, not counting any potential animations or anything, it probably takes about, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe at the most to bring it into the scene and have it automatically appearing in the level at some point, which is really nice. It really speeds up getting it in. So that groundwork is kind of already there. Like I said, we didn't use too many pre-built assets from the asset store. The only ones we've used so far is the health menu in the upper left is a common prefabbed health menu, which was really nice and easy to implement. So I have no qualms about using that one because that's something, it's just reinventing the horse, and it's not like you're stealing any art assets because we can still customize that ourselves. Not that using art assets from the asset store is stealing. But we've also used a JSON importer just to import the files. We still build our own classes and create them at runtime. And then the other item we used is... Actually, I think the other thing is just a pack of little like 2D assets for like common assets. They're not in here right now because I haven't put any of them in yet. But yeah, so let's look at the actual game. So if we go into the scene real quick, and we go look at our little smiley player. So this is all that's in there in the scene. Basically the canvas for our, you know, UI and our loading screen that we've got there. And then a set of objects that what it does is it's got components on it that generate the entire level. So there's actually like nothing to even place in here other than like a basic light and our character. And then as soon as we start playing, actually what I should do is do this. And you'll see the level just generate out in front of the player. So you can see it generated there. And as I go forward and left and right and stuff, you can see it's kind of, I don't know, I'm getting kind of some chuggy frames here, but left and right kind of generates it, keeps going to the right, keeps generating that. You can see there it generates a wall. But yeah, it's pretty functional so far. And right now the goal of the game is to just avoid things as much as possible. That's not the only mode we've got planned. And I actually like some of the other modes more personally, but it's kind of interesting because we have a 3-person team right now, and each person's got a different idea for some variant on a mode. And it's kind of cool because each one of us wants to go off and like build that. So we're trying to get to that point where we can start building the modes and just starting loading this thing full of, you know, the art assets that we build from Cubicle. So let's quick look at the to-do here on the stream. The to-do items that are on there, I'm going to read the screen over here. JSON updates. So that is updating JSON to have some more of these options. One of the main options is going to be increasing the amount of randomization for each piece of debris. So I can scale the tree to say, oh, hey, randomize more trees than apple trees, or more trees than anything else in general. That kind of randomization needs to be in this file and not hard-coded. Multi-threading. So right now the level generation is not multi-threaded at all. It just goes loops a lot. And that needs to potentially be multi-threaded because it will perform better and in the background. Mode menu, again, want to get to those, putting those modes in. Basic weather, that's one asset that we also picked up. It's just some basic pixelated weather that I'm going to try and get into each of the biomes. Let's see. Extra large debris gen. Right now, the debris is about the size of a tile. So if I go and jump in here, let's see, resources. Go into our biomes. We go look at the desert. We have a tile that's, you know, so and so big. We go up and we go to the debris. We put the debris on it. You can see they're kind of scaled together. We're using the same scale inside of cubicle. Extra large debris is debris that's bigger than a single tile. So we need to supplement the other tiles to say, hey, if there's something above you, don't generate a piece of debris because something bigger has been generated already and is standing on top of you. So we need to do that. Tile, debris, random weight. Again, that's part of the JSON updates. That's actually kind of a duplicate on there. The implement iPlaceable, it's a class right now that doesn't really do a whole lot. It was supposed to be used for making things generic, but we didn't do that. And random tiles don't gen. Have an idea for a solution on that one, just need to code it. It's kind of a problem on, it seems to be like only on my Microsoft Surface, but I think it's a problem when the performance of it is really low. I didn't realize until tonight that I had vertical sync turned on, and when you turn that on, in our case, it basically like halves your frames per second, and in most games it typically lowers it a whole bunch, but it seems to run a lot better without it, and I'm not so sure because this is eventually going to go to mobile. What we're going to be doing on those, probably not VSync, I would guess. I turned it off. I didn't see any tearing going on, but I'm not super observant to that stuff sometimes. So we've got lots of different things going on. We're meeting every 2 weeks and having, you can't see that very well, meeting every 2 weeks and having discussions on what we want in the game, what we need to focus on, and what our deliverables are every 2 weeks. Again, like I said, it looks really simple right now, but there's actually a whole lot going on behind the scenes. So that's why I was a little hesitant to show it at this state. But I think it's kind of cool if you're kind of a techie and you know, like coding. I think it's really cool. I'm really proud of it because I wrote a lot of the level gen stuff, and I thought, that's one of the cool things about it. So as we go along, hopefully I'll do some more of these dev vlogs more often. I've been waiting since the Torment thing to do this one because obviously at being still such an early state right now, it's kind of hard to show it without saying, hey, look at this game, and then everyone look at it and go, oh, that's what it looks like. It's one of those. So as we go further with implementing more art assets and stuff, it's going to look a lot better, I think. But yeah, so that's what's up with Subject Matter Games. We're going to continue working on this. Make sure to follow us on twitter.com/submattergames, facebook.com/submattergames. And you can follow me. Streaming every once in a while. If you follow us on Twitter and Facebook sometimes, we'll post when we have Twitch streams, when I stream game development of this game, which is always a fun time. So thanks for stopping in and watching, and yeah, stay tuned. I think this game is going to be pretty cool. I'm actually really excited to work on this one because I think it's actually pretty fun to play already in this state. So I will see you guys later, and have a good one.